Hi, everybody. And good afternoon, good morning, or good evening to you, listeners, and people watching us from all over the world. As you know, we are based in two different continents, two different countries. And I wanted to say, Abarigani, Angela.
Uzuri sana. That means, how are you? And I said, very well, thank you.
Good to be back again with you, Angela, for our
I-
third uh, talk show. Third talk show.
yes.
God, time flies, and it's nearly Christmas. Ta-da-da. But
Yeah, time to celebrate.
exactly. Well, before we start talking about this fantastic topic today, which is developing emotional intelligence for business resilience. I want to introduce Angela for the ladies who don't know you, Angela. Angela Nzilani is based in Kenya, and she's a life coach and a corporate trainer. And she's passionate about women's empowerment, and that's why we teamed up for this talk show. Welcome again, Angela.
Thank you very much, Isa. Thank you for being here with me for the third time. I enjoy doing this with you, and I enjoy sharing to the women of the world with you because you're a fantastic person and also a great coach. For some viewers, Isa is from Ecuador, and she is a women empowerment coach. She is very passionate about seeing women thrive in business. And why not import all that expertise from Ecuador to Kenya and even pass through the air to the world? Yeah, so thank you, Isa, for being here with me. I'm looking forward to many more. Today is our third show, as you said, and we usually meet every 2 weeks. But because of the festivities, we are not going to be meeting before Christmas and after. We will meet next year, our first meeting for the 2025 to welcome the new year, the new month, and I'm sure it's going to have a lot of knowledge and excitement for the new year, and it's going to be on the 13th of January. So we're looking forward to sharing with you tonight and also having you next year on the 13th of January. Our topic today, as I mentioned, is developing emotional intelligence for business resilience. Developing emotional intelligence for business resilience. We are dealing with you, business ladies. So we want to talk to you about emotional intelligence. Worldwide, I think, Isa, you can correct me. Women are being classified as very emotionally weak people. We cry a lot, we speak a lot, we we tend to we tend to we are told that we talk too much. We are told so many things, we react to everything, and when it comes to business and we are reacting to everything instead of responding to everything, then we are classified. So we want to talk to you about emotional intelligence and try to see what can we do as women to do better into business, because we like it or not, we are breadwinners as women. So we have to fit in the business world just like our counterparts, the men. So what is emotional intelligence? I would define it as a cognitive and manage your we are required to manage emotions? How do we manage the emotions of other people? We are not in charge of what they feel. We are not in charge of how other people's emotions would be to respond. How we respond as people? How do we respond? Because the reason why we get tired is because of being emotionally strong, but it's because we get classified because we tend to react because we have so many emotions going on all over the place, and we have a lot going on in our lives as women. So for us women, we need to just ask ourselves, am I emotionally intelligent? What is this emotional intelligence? Isa, what can you say about emotional intelligence?
You see, when you talk about women being emotional, I find that as a strength. We're not that hard. We are more compassionate than men. And that's really, really useful for companies, right? Where you listen to your staff, you listen to your colleagues, because that's very important. I mean, for me, in a company, it's not the processes, it's not the procedures and things, it's the people, who make the companies. So we need to look after them. We need to look after the people so they feel safe, they feel that they are heard, right? So that's what I would say about emotional intelligence, is being able as well to recognize when we make a mistake, So it's just like the self-awareness, the empathy, and it's very important, for example, to be self-aware, right? And try to encourage your employee to look back on their emotion and reactions. Okay, why did I react like that? What was the trigger? Okay, what triggered me to just, I don't know, is there something my colleague said and suddenly was just like, I felt anger? Is it something which happens a lot? Is it always with the same colleague? Because sometimes there is a pattern. So trying to find out, identify when suddenly there is a situation, and just pause and look, right? And even you as a owner of a company, just do the same. Just reflect on yourself and just try to assess, okay, when do I just get angry or sad, or when do I get like they made a mistake and I'm not happy with it, or what do I do? What environment do I give my staff? Is it like a safe environment where they can come to me when they make a mistake, or because they know that I'm going to listen? So self-awareness is very important. What do you think, Angela?
Yeah, I think self-awareness is key, because we first have to get to understand ourselves. And when we understand ourselves, we are able to regulate ourselves. So what you are saying is, maybe in a simpler language, is to say that we should be able to regulate what we feel and how we respond or react to what we feel. And then we also need to build on our social skills, so that how we relate with others, whether it is one person who we usually, cross paths every other time, or it's everyone, or just the environment itself is not very good, because you will need to do a lot when you're a business lady, or when you're in a workplace. You will need to make decisions. You will need to take care of your own personal well-being. You need to act professionally. You cannot just be crying in the office and, reacting in a certain way. You also need to be a lady, elegance, and such kind of things. So how you regulate yourself really matters. And emotional intelligence encompasses all these things that we are talking about. So this is a skill. Emotional intelligence is just a skill that can be grown. It is not something that we are born with, but it is a skill that we can grow. And it's a skill that sometimes you might find that you don't really have it as you should. So you have to keep on keeping yourself on check. So there are ways of cultivating emotional intelligence. What do you have in mind, Issa, when it comes to cultivating emotional intelligence?
As I said, some tools and to do like self-assessment. I think that would be the first thing to and get some feedback as well from colleagues and just say, okay, I'm listening. So be ready as well to be prepared of what's coming. I mean, it could be good or bad. Or and maybe somebody is saying to you, oh, when you're under pressure, you're like a lion, right? Nobody talks to you. So, and it's just like, oh, thank you for letting me know, because next time I'm under pressure, I will stop and just try to regulate that emotion and just listen. Just maybe not jumping from being a lion to a cool cucumber, as we say, but it's just more like, okay, what can I do to just stop that? Or just reduce that, so my colleagues are happy and they can come to me whenever I'm under pressure or I'm not under pressure. I think, as I was saying, like some tools to get feedback, to sit down and just say, okay, yesterday I didn't listen to my colleague or I didn't listen to my staff. Why? What was happening in my head or what was happening in the office? So would be my first tool.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because when you're listening, we are able to listen to yourself, and when you allow people to give you feedback about yourself and be ready to receive it also, that is a very good point of growth, a place of growth. Maybe something else I can say is empathy, putting yourself in the other person's shoes. Even when you don't understand their shoes, you try to put them in that situation where they are, and try to look at it like maybe you may not be aware of what they are going through, but sometimes even hurt people would hurt others. So you don't know what they are going through. Maybe they are hurt by something out there, or they're going through a tough situation, or I don't know, maybe the environment is not very good for them. So what can you do as a person, as a woman, to come through for this other person? Be ready to listen, be ready to help where you can. So having some empathy, not sympathy, but empathy. Yeah. Because there's a difference. Sympathy will not help. It's like you're just giving pity. But when you empathize, you're able to give solutions. You're able to look at this person now it's like getting out of yourself and looking at this person as you. What would you do in this situation? Because you are better placed to reason, because you're not the one who is going through that situation. You're just trying to imagine what could they be going through. So you're able to reason in a different way than this person. So that way you can bring some solution in it. So that way, I think we can be able to help regulate the emotions of other people.
Yeah, I totally agree. Sometimes it's not easy to put ourselves in the other person's shoes, but it's part of compassion, no? It's just like thinking, okay, what happened to them in the morning, for example, before coming to work? And that's why the emotion triggered something. And so, yeah, empathy is very, very important. And within companies as well, sometimes you've got like a conflict between colleagues, and And I think, well, personally, I encourage companies to do some workshops on conflict resolution, because people need to have some techniques. You know, you arrive with your background in the company, your colleague with another background, and another colleague with another background. Maybe in the companies they worked for before, emotional intelligence was totally something new, something unknown. So you need to address that as owner of a company. Talk to your staff and put in place some workshops where they can get techniques to resolve conflict, to emphasize the importance of understanding the different viewpoints, right? It's not that because we, for example, Angela, we work together, sometimes we don't agree. But what I like in English is I agree to disagree. Okay, I love that expression.
Yes.
It's just like, okay, let's find a compromise. Okay. If as a colleague, or if one colleague comes every time at 5 o'clock and it's about to go to work, or you're going to back home, and he says, well, I want it right now. It's just like, okay, why didn't you tell me before? Or when is it for? Is it for tomorrow first thing, or is it tomorrow afternoon? So just like asking question and listening as well, so it doesn't escalate.
Yeah, it's also another very important thing about getting to understand maybe that other people go through issues. When I was working in my first employment, my first job, my boss was very strict and very emotionally unaware, self-unaware. And it was very difficult working for this gentleman, because his statement would be, when you're coming into this gate, you leave your baggage away from this place. So it showed that he never really cared about what we go through. And now growing up and understanding all these things about emotional intelligence and getting to understand that people have to be treated in a certain way to be productive. It made me, now this is the time I really feel sorry for him, if he hasn't changed, that is. I hope he has. Because it was a very difficult moment, because I would wonder, where would the business be right now if that is still the mentality. So so this drives me to now the leadership that we have, the kind of leadership that you as a person has. How do you lead yourself? How do you develop yourself? Personal development in a nutshell, because emotional intelligence is part of personal development. It's one of the small branches of personal development. It is a journey. It is a lifestyle. So we have to keep on developing ourselves as leaders. Every human being is a leader, because whether you choose to lead yourself consciously or not, you're leading yourself somewhere. So whether you take responsibility of what you do, you will still lead yourself somewhere. Or if you don't, you'll still lead yourself somewhere. So you have to look at yourself as a leader as well as the other people around you. So in the workplace, if you're the leader as a woman, if you're the business owner as a woman, you have to take the responsibility of having programs, hiring people like Isa to come and coach your staff on how to lead themselves, personal leadership. How do they lead themselves? Organizing programs that are very healthy for the mind, for understanding the inner person has to be taken care of. We need to learn these things. We need to build these skills so that we can be able to lead ourselves and also lead those who are around us. So building communication skills, building self-regulation skills, building these emotional intelligence skills, it's a process. So sometimes it may require a coach. Actually, many times it requires a coach or a trainer. That's why we come in to come and give you some aid. So make sure you invest in, it's called self-investment.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a cost. It's not a cost that it's an investment. When you look at it that way, then you're able to benefit from it. So I look forward to working with you ladies. And
Mm-hmm.
also I look forward to Issa calling me and telling me, hey, I got this engagement from this organization because we spoke about it and it's giving fruits. So I think this is it's something that we can never undermine, self-leadership as well as leadership in the team as a group. How do we lead ourselves and how do we lead also those who are around us?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
And invest in your staff. Invest in the people, because the people is the company. So invest in them. And something we talked about, we touched briefly, but foster a culture of openness, right? Encourage open communication with respect, with feedback. And as a business owner, I advise you as well to do a 1 year get together, with every staff, to do like an appraisal. Where are you now? What do you want? What is expected of you, right? And be transparent as well with the organization. Don't tell them to do something you don't do, because you lose credibility.
Yeah.
So leaders should lead by example.
Yes.
Like showing vulnerability and authenticity is part of being emotionally intelligent. Is like, okay, I made a mistake. I take responsibility of it. So many, big bosses would just say, hey, that's not my fault, or I didn't have the right information. That's your job to get the right information. And if you make a mistake, just accept it. Just take it as your responsibility. So and just engage. For example, when somebody comes with a problem, just say, I appreciate you bringing this to my attention, right? Open the arms, right? Okay. Okay, we can explore it together. Give them as well support. So, and in a lot of companies, it's usually the blame culture. It's your fault. Well, no, I mean, could be the team, right? Or you as a manager to say, I'm sorry, okay, I made a mistake. I didn't give you the right information to finish that project. So yeah, you need to foster a culture of openness. For example, in my previous life, when I was in sales, I was an export sales manager, and my boss, female boss as well, right? Female director, sales director, would always have a door open, right? That was an invitation to just say, hey, whatever it is, my door is open. We knew that we had a very difficult, or she had a meeting and she needed to be in a quiet place. She would shut the door. So we knew that we could not disturb her. Or if there was an emergency, of course, yes. And otherwise, her door was always open. So, and it was a way to just say, hey, come on, you want to discuss something like an idea, a problem, whatever. And she could hear as well what was going on in the office. So she would participate. But it was really that communication and the transparency she was really proning. So
yeah, that's wow. Wow, that's very profound. So many want to lock themselves inside and they don't want to be seen or interact with their juniors. It's a common thing in many workplaces. The
Mm-hmm.
boss want to be seen as the boss, but
But yeah, sorry.
yeah, it's all right.
Go on, go on. No,
Yeah.
go on, because I'm going to share something with you after. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think it's something that is really quite profound. So not many leaders understand what leadership is all about,
Mm-hmm.
because this has an impact on the results that you're going to get, the way you relate with your staff. How does this emotional intelligence impact your business? How does it impact the way you lead others? So for me, I would say that what you've just shared is quite profound, because it shows that the leader is able to connect even with personal issues.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't want to talk about the personal issues that affect people, but when I have a personal issue affecting me, it is affecting also the work. So if as a leader I leave my door open, you know that I'm open to listen. You know that I can give you solutions, or I can just listen. Sometimes people just want to be heard. They don't even want to be given all this kind of guidance and all that. They just want to pour out, and everything just becomes okay. So you may think that you're being the boss, but you I think being a boss is it doesn't go very well with business. Otherwise, it's better to call yourself a leader than a boss. So emotional intelligence will help you to
Mm-hmm.
enhance that kind of leadership, where you're able to understand that we are all here for a common goal. And this common goal is to make sure that this business succeeds. Whether you're the boss or whether you're the bigger person, I don't want to call you the boss, but whether you're the bigger, the one with the bigger responsibilities at work or not, we are all there for one common goal. So if the common goal is to see us succeed as a team, then we need to work together. Emotional intelligence will help you become a better leader. You become a better person who listens. You become that person who becomes more trusted by others. So
Exactly.
it will also help you to get to understand where is this person weak at and where are they strong at. So you give responsibilities according to each person's um, strengths and weaknesses. So you're able to even understand, how do these people think? How does a certain worker think? How does this other worker respond to issues? How are they as a person? How is their own emotional intelligence, and how is it relating to the results of the business as a whole? So when you work on your emotional intelligence as a leader, you become a better leader. You become even more productive. And when you're more productive, even your team becomes more productive. I hope you've not forgotten what you wanted to say, Isa.
No, no, I haven't. Don't worry. I'm going to get back to that.
Okay, please do.
When you were talking about juniors, I loved people wanting to do like an internship in my company or the company I was working for, because they come with a different pair of eyes, right? Even
Mm.
people who have been working for a year, listen to them. They've got new ideas. Sometimes we do things and we don't realize why we do them. It's because we've always done them that way. So
Mm.
open your door and just talk to them. And when you were talking about personal issues, I had a personal issue, and at the time, and the same boss I'm talking about, I was talking about earlier, that female boss. She just said to me, "Okay, Isabel, I can see that you're not, something's wrong. Let's go and have lunch together."
Wow.
And then that was outside the environment, the working environment, the workplace,
Uh,
and I just explained my situation, and she was very supportive. So because
wow.
you could tell as well in my body language, that's another thing which is very important in communication, is looking at the body language. When you've got your staff members and one of them is not the same as normal, like, very chatty or smiling or something, that's another way as well to open up the communication. Hey, come on, I need to speak. Come on, let's have a chat, right? Is there something wrong? Is there something I can help you with? And I think that's really, as you were saying, right? People need to be heard, right? And that's why I really encourage people, but to be heard in a good way, not just for the sake of it, just being interested, genuinely interested.
Yeah, and they've become more loyal, and also they feel like they belong. It becomes like family altogether.
Mm-hmm.
I remember somebody who was talking about work-life balance, and they say that work-life balance is one and the same thing. But then how will work and life feel the same when the environment at work is inconducive? So when we make it conducive, we make people feel like they belong. So you don't, when you're going to work, you don't feel like you're going to work, but you feel like you're going to another home. Yeah. So you feel like I belong here. And I give my loyalty here. So I can imagine how you felt after your boss took you out and was listening to you. It must have felt like this is home, she's taking care of me like a big sister, like a mother. So
exactly,
it must have felt really nice. And you also felt like I really need to do more. I really need to even work a little bit harder to give more results.
And
so it's a win-win.
I'm still in touch with her after probably 16 years, 17 years I left the company.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And you can imagine if maybe a conflict would come up between the two of you, it would be very easy to be solved. Because, this is like now home for you. This is someone you can look back and recommend. This is a company you can recommend for services. So even if there would be a conflict, it would be easy for you to resolve. So with emotional intelligence, it becomes very easy to resolve so many things and to grow as a team.
Totally, I agree. So tell us, Angela, what are emotional intelligence? What are the success really of emotional intelligence in the workplace?
I would say productivity. We become more productive. We become people who can, because now we are working towards that common goal. We want to give. We are seen, we are felt, and we are heard. So with emotional intelligence at the workplace, of course, productivity becomes something that we can never undermine. We will always see more productive. Our goals are becoming more realized. We also see that relationships between the staff, they become better. Yeah. And there's nothing as important as human connection. Social, we are social beings. So our social life becomes even better. So you don't need to, because whether we have friends at work or not, we will crave for that. And it would be better if we can create an environment where my colleagues are also my friends. Sometimes we cannot even relate with each other at work because we feel like we are fighting. Like, instead of being on the same corner, we feel like we are parallel. Everyone is going on their own direction, and we are not able to reason together. We are not able to do anything friendly. So I think it's something very important that we work towards, because building this relationships will also help us to know that I can work with so and so, I can work with so and so, I can go to so and so for help. So it becomes easy for for the people to work together as a team. So it helps build strong teams also.
Of course, and because there is trust as well for the leader, right? It's easier as well to the fact that they listen to what the staff is saying, that there is like a community and a family. When there is a change, because we don't like changes as human beings, right? We hate it. It's just like, oh my God, like what's going to happen? Like, it's easier for the leader to just, I'm going to say, sell the project and just say, okay, we are going to change, but that's what we need to change. Okay, I'm listening to you to tell me, okay, what do you see with this project? Where do you see our downfalls? Where do you see our strengths, right? So it's just like it helps as well to include everybody. And then it's easier as well for changes. So the leader can just say, okay, that's it. I trust you. We can do it. That's something as well. Not only them trusting the leader, but the leader to trust them as well and tell them often.
And them also trusting each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I trust you as a person, and I trust you as a team that we can. Right. That's a leader. So, and not imposing. But there is something as well, because I worked in sales, obviously. So customer satisfaction and loyalty. I mean, I remember, I'm going to share, I had a client in Germany, but he was French and I'm French. So we were talking, and Angela, we could talk for an hour, but we would talk 10 minutes of business. The rest of the time was about our lives and what we'd been doing, and I would remember for the next conversation what he had said to me. So, for example, he was going to a football game, right? The following time or the following conversation, the first thing was, "Hey, how was the game?"
Wow.
So again, listening. And as a salesperson as well, the best asset for a salesperson is listening. Not talking, right? Is listening.
Yes.
And again, Angela, I'm still in touch with him. And I left the company nearly 20 years ago.
Wow.
So, and I'm just like, okay, so that's the thing. Make them feel comfortable that they can talk about the business, but not only the business. And that's when you create a relationship. And it's true that sometimes I wasn't feeling very well, and I would be authentic and vulnerable, and I would just say, oh, I've got a bad headache today. And so, just like being myself. And that helped for me to secure that business, but in a right way. I wasn't doing it on purpose. It was just because that's the way I am.
Yeah. Wow. And I think it instills confidence of the customers to the business. They become more confident because there's a one-on-one touch with the employees, and there's also confidence of the employee or the workers. You're able to build their confidence in the organization and to show them that they can be more resilient. So they become more resilient and more adaptable. So if there's change in the organization, which many times will happen because change is always constant, when there's change, the employees are able to say, well, why not embrace this one? Because remember, you are all working towards the same goals. So you are able to help them just realize that this is also for my own good. So I better work on my resilience. I better work on my emotions. I better work on my focus. and stay composed and stay focused on the goal, on the main goal. Because at the end of the day, it's a win-win for all of us. It's not just, I'm not doing it for the boss. I'm not doing it for the customer. I'm also doing it for myself. So when you make them realize that there's something also for them, when you help them work on their emotions, being able to regulate their emotions, being able to stay productive, even with the hard times and the changes that are coming. They are able to work harder and stay resilient, stay focused to the main goal. So I think it's a big win at the end of the day. It is a big win for everyone.
Totally.
It is, yeah. It's just a big win for everyone in the organization.
Well,
do you have any nuggets or something for them to take away, or something unforgettable?
Well, something unforgettable. I was going to say to our audience, okay, put yourself in a group where people are talking and they don't take you into consideration. They don't listen to you. How do you feel?
Oh,
frustrated?
yeah.
It's like, hey, come on, invisible. What about me, right? So that's exactly what the staff or your employees or your colleague might feel if you don't listen to them. And then eventually they will leave.
Yeah.
Right? So, or even if, for example, they have an idea and every time you say no, well, they don't listen to me, right? Or every time they make a mistake, they are so scared of coming to see you that they will probably make the mistake again and again. So instead of going to see you and just say, okay, hands up, I've made a mistake, right? And we have a saying in French, and it's just like, if you tell that you've made a mistake, you are half forgiven.
Wow.
So that's it. So you are forgiven anyway, because you've been courageous to talk about it.
Yeah.
And so encourage your staff to just say, okay, you know what? Like, making a mistake is a learning curve. So regarding emotional intelligence, I would suggest, as a female business woman and leader, listen, be compassionate, empathy, and open communication at a different at all level.
Yeah. Wow. And when it comes to open communication, make sure that you're heard, you're understood. For example, if somebody finds you may be doing something and they want you to listen to them, you can just take a breather and tell them, hey, just give me a minute. Let me think about it. Or give me a minute. Let me finish what I was doing. I will come back to you. That way, the person will not feel ignored, and you will have done what you need to do, and you will go back to them. But make sure you go back. Don't just say, I'll come back to you, and you disappear. So you can always excuse yourself in a nice way, in a way that the other person understands. So communication is very important when it comes to emotional intelligence. Don't just assume that they understand what you're going through or what you're doing. Make sure that you verbalize it. Make sure that they understand why you have to be the way you are right now, and not being responsive to what maybe they need. If it is an emergency, then maybe, of course, you can put what you're doing aside if it is not another emergency. Or if it is, you can maybe also excuse yourself and say, or suggest somebody who can do the job better. Also, so communication is very key. Understanding that the other person needs to understand you, needs to hear from you. So as much as listening is important, voicing out also your position is very important as well. So don't let people assume things because there's always going to be a lot of misconception. Make sure that they understand what you mean and they understand what you're saying.
Well, you see, Angela, I went to a workshop and the facilitator was saying, don't assume, because assume is us, you, me. I was like, okay, so I will remember that. Yeah, because if you assume, you don't know what the other person thinks. So.
Yeah, yeah.
I just wanted to share that with you. So.
Yeah, and people have so many perceptions, so many perceptions of things. And so many people are very paranoid because of experiences that they go through. And because of paranoia, we tend to overthink, and we tend to mix up things and misunderstand each other. So I think I don't know, viewers, what do you feel about emotional intelligence? What stands out for you tonight? What have you learned tonight that stands out for you? Write it on the comment section. Tell us what you're going through. Tell us what you also would want us to hear, to discuss next time, or even at a time of your when you want to hear from us. What would you say? What would be your final word, Isa, about emotional intelligence?
Step by step. That's
awesome.
Yeah, step by step.
Wow. Yeah. Step by step.
Yeah. Every day, having a look. And how do I deal with emotional intelligence as far as I'm concerned, right? How is my young staff? Looking at them in a different way and just, okay, what do they need from me? That's what I would say.
Awesome. I think I would say that it is your responsibility to work on your own emotional intelligence. And it is also your responsibility to help others work on their own emotional intelligence. Because just imagine, you're able to handle your emotions properly. You're able to, reason properly, communicate, listen, and all these kind of things that we are talking about tonight. But you are in a very chaotic environment. How frustrated would you be? Can you imagine? So it is also your responsibility to help others work on their own emotions, especially when you're a leader, and especially when you're a business leader. So it is your responsibility. Take responsibility, put it in your hands. It is yours to work on so that you can thrive. At the end of the day, you matter. So if you matter, then you will also see that others matter too. And yeah, it is at the end of the day, the winning formula to success in business, especially in the modern world where the world has become so chaotic with so many things. You open the internet, your phone like this, and so many things are flashing around you. So with all this chaos, emotional intelligence is the winning formula into your business success. So ladies.
I totally agree. Yes. Go on, Angela.
Yes. Yeah. So ladies, we will see you again on the 13th of January. And by the way, it will be just a few days to my birthday. Woo-hoo.
Wow. So they can't miss it. Obviously, they can't miss it. So
yes. So please don't miss it. So I'm looking forward to celebrating Christmas and knowing and New Year and the whole festivities. I hope you ladies are planning something good for yourselves first, and then for your families. So don't forget yourself first. You know, us, we tend to give and give and give and pour out until our cups are empty. So make sure that you're filling yourself up. Take care of yourself. Enjoy your holiday. And we meet again in January, where we are going to plan the year together. We have exciting things that are going to help you become better women and better leaders. Thank you for having us tonight. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Isa, back to you.
Well, thank you, Angela. Well, you know what? I would even say just delegate. Don't do everything. Delegate.
Yes.
That's what I do. That's what I do. I just delegate. And yes, ladies, enjoy your holidays, enjoy the family time, try to relax. Self-care is very important. And as I said, delegate, so you get a bit of time for yourself, go for a walk, meet with friends and have a coffee and laugh. So we'll see you next year. And as Angela said, if there is a topic you want us to cover, to talk about, you've got the email on the screen. We will be happy to talk about what you feel you need an answer to. And I wish you a happy Christmas in family, and see you next year. So bye everybody. Have a nice evening, a nice day, afternoon, and Hakuna Matata. No worries for the holidays.
Muchas gracias. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.